Hey folks, welcome to We Built This White Lake. My name is Amy Van Loon. I'm the Executive Director of the White Lake Area Chamber of Commerce.
And I'm Stephanie Ware, Director of Events and Membership with the White Lake Area Chamber of Commerce.
And we are your hosts here at CatchMark Technologies Podcast Recording Studios. That's a mouthful. And today with us, we have Coldwell, Banker, Woodland, Schmidt, another mouthful. With us, we have Jason Rice and David Dusenberry. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
Thank you.
And could you share with our viewers your titles? Because I know, there's something behind a title and behind a name. So, Jason, we were just talking about what your official title is.
Well, I'm the broker here for West Michigan, but I'm also the president of Michigan operations that travel around the whole state for the Coldwell Banker Schmidt family.
Wow. Okay. That sounds like a big deal.
It's fun. It's a lot of
Good.
fun. Yeah.
Good. David?
I am the managing broker for our Whitehall office.
Nice. All right. And that's located right here on Colby. Beautiful location, location, and it's such a great spot. So
223 East Colby.
all right, excellent. So tell us a little bit about Coldwell Banker Woodland Schmidt and the real estate industry as a whole.
I'll go first, I guess.
Okay.
Obviously, you said we're Coldwell Banker Woodland Schmidt. We are located right here in Whitehall, but we also have 45 offices throughout the state of Michigan.
Wow.
We have offices in Florida, Ohio, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Our agents, we sell residential real estate, lakefront real estate, vacant land, commercial properties, luxury real estate.
Wow.
And we currently have 17 agents in our Whitehall office.
Wow, I would have never guessed that. That's those are some amazing stats and numbers. I didn't realize that you were that vast and all over the country, and to have 17 agents right here under your business.
All living and working right here in White Lake.
That's
Excellent.
incredible.
Yeah, the company has actually expanded over the last several years, and I suspect we want to talk a little bit about some history here, but it's really kind of exciting for us as we continue to grow we're on the verge of celebrating 100 years.
Wow.
The company was established in 1927.
Okay.
And so we're on the 100th anniversary in just a couple of years here. And over the last, I'll call it 20 or 30 years, the company has really expanded beyond just Michigan. We are now in Ohio, as David mentioned. We're into Florida, the U.S. Virgin Islands. And it's really been an exciting growth because a lot of those markets are sister markets, if you will, to Michigan, right? It makes sense for Florida to interact with Michigan and Michigan to interact with Florida. So the growth started in Traverse City. That's kind of the home office. It's a fifth generation company. And our ownership group in 1980 became a Coldwell Banker franchise. So it was an independent brokerage up in Traverse City up and through the 80s. And then when they became a member of Coldwell Banker, one of the first Coldwell Banker franchises in Michigan, over the course of the next 30 or 40 years, they've just acquired or merged with like-minded companies that have wanted to share the true value of home is kind of who we are. We're a sales organization, but we're in the service business. Our deal is to help agents or help our buyers, help our sellers accomplish their real estate dreams, whatever that might be. And so that growth has happened organically as we've gone into different markets throughout Michigan to what David was mentioning about 45 offices to now, which is 90 offices across all the states. But we're focused here on White Lake. We're White Lake people. And my wife and I live in White Lake. Dave and his wife live in White Lake. Katie's an agent for us as well. And from our history standpoint, personally, it's a family sport for us as well because Katie's dad's been in the business, her uncle's in the business, and maybe some of our kids, David, will be in the business someday. You never know. But
let's hope.
That's who we are. We've got a long history of serving buyers and sellers, and we love doing that here in White Lake.
That's incredible. I did not know you were approaching 100 years.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Not the two of us.
No, not the two of you. Coldwell Banker, though, that's huge. Making a mental note for 2027.
There you go.
So you kind of hit on a little bit about it, or a little bit of it, but going back 97 years, how did it all start? Where did it all begin?
Well, Mr. Schmidt, Harold Schmidt, was kind of a real estate guy in Traverse City.
Okay.
And in 1906, just going back in way history, the National Association of Realtors was founded. And back then, real estate it was a wild, wild west. It really didn't have code of ethics. It didn't have best practices. And so as that evolved in the early part of the century, Mr. Schmidt wanted to do that here in Michigan or Traverse City specifically. And so he started the company, and then his son became a member of the company. And then his son, which was Ken Schmidt, who has recently actually passed away, and now his son and grandson, so fifth generation, are in the real estate business. So it started in Traverse City really out of an effort to do what the National Association had done and our Coldwell Banker founding. Coldwell Banker was founded in 1906 as well on that same premise of raising the bar for real estate. And that's been pretty exciting because we've followed in the same path of the National Association of Realtors and our franchise, our mother company, if you will, and follow in their footsteps. And so it started back in 1927.
Oh.
Rich history.
Yeah,
Rich history, and who knew? That is a pretty astounding feat in itself, just to have those accomplishments. Looking at where you are today in the past 100 years, over the years, what do you feel have been some of the biggest challenges, some of those biggest hurdles that you have experienced as representing that industry?
I think we got to look back at COVID. I mean, I think that was a huge challenge. When we couldn't be out, and many sight unseen homes purchased, and dealing with that, and then dealing with making sure we were safe. That was probably our hardest challenge.
Sure, probably a very difficult time to even be an agent.
Real estate's always changing too, and what's interesting about the business, especially here as we look at our agents, is they're always adaptable. The real estate industry is always changing. There's always hurdles. There's always challenges. There's obviously victories, and we'll probably share some of those at some point.
Okay.
But it's been very interesting to watch the agent navigate. We've had economic issues, weather issues, and the interest rate scenario that we've been faced with here in the last year or so, and obviously, like you said, with COVID. But what's time and time again, no matter what's thrown at the industry, especially what we were kind of our Coldwell Banker agents, which we were obviously a little biased, but they always rise to the occasion, even though there's the hurdle. They navigate that because they really want to help, because it doesn't matter what happens in the world. Buyers and sellers need homes, right? They're going to sell a home.
Yeah.
They exist.
Yeah.
Someone wants to buy, someone wants to sell, and it's our job to help them navigate that hurdle, no matter what the case may be. And we've always risen to that occasion, yourself included. It's been really a fun thing to be part of, where some industries can't survive some of those changes. Some industries are very much different, but yet our industry, no matter what the change happens, we tend to figure it out and move forward. And that's what we did in COVID.
Yeah, very resilient.
Yeah.
The agents.
And you would have to be, you probably on a daily basis, just when you think you've heard it or seen it all, something else happens. You probably could write a book on, those changes and those obstacles that come into play.
A good book title might be Schmidt Happened.
I like that.
Oh, all right. Chapter 1. Okay, here we go.
Schmidt happened.
I believe I saw that on a T-shirt
You did.
somewhere.
You probably did, yeah.
So going from hurdles to victories, what are some of the biggest victories that you have seen with Coldwell Banker, but also just in the industry or even with you guys?
I think the biggest victory is we help people achieve their dreams every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
And it's their biggest purchase. It's huge.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It is probably the biggest in a.
We see it as an honor. Like it's when you're invited into someone's biggest investment, and not just the investment from a monetary standpoint, right? Home is where things happen, right? Life changes happen.
Yeah.
Marriages, births, deaths, the big celebrations, those big moments, and we're invited into that world. And so as a real estate agent, we look at this as not just a transaction, not just to work through a process, but to be part of somebody's life. And that's a privilege. And I think from a Coldwell Banker perspective, and David's team specifically here in White Lake, they take that very to heart. Like, this is not about that transaction. It's not about the agent. Our job is to serve that buyer or that seller, because we know, because we're buyers and sellers ourselves. We live in this town and in this community, and we know the value of home ourselves. And that's a big deal for us. We don't take that lightly. It's not just about a transaction that might be in a different industry where it's done and gone. It's a big deal.
I think you hit it on the head. I mean, it's a privilege, and we get to vicariously live through their joy.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, that would be a neat experience. And you hit a lot on home purchase and sell. What about businesses? What about the commercial level of Coldwell Banker Woodland Schmidt?
We are involved in the commercial.
Okay.
We have a commercial what would you call Holland? I mean,
A commercial team, yeah.
A commercial team.
Yeah.
Although many of the agents here in White Lake do commercial,
They sure do.
myself included. But I mean, we have a strong commercial presence as
What's
well.
really interesting is you think of commercial real estate brokers as some of those big names out there and Stevie
Yeah.
Ellis and things like that, where Coldwell Banker has been one of the biggest commercial brokerages in the nation. And in Michigan, the number one Coldwell Banker commercial agent is in our company. And so, and they're working in all those elements. And that's an industry that's really changing too, right? With the post-COVID and the online
Sure.
stores and retail and office space and all the functionalities of commercial space today is changing. To have those assets that we can leverage, even if that may not be our forte every day, but we do it, to have those teams and those assets in the commercial world is important because, again, back to home, a lot of our homeowners, they are business owners. We're in an office right now who's a local homeowner. They own real property, but they also own a business. They also own commercial property.
Yeah.
And to be able to serve them on both levels is important for us.
Absolutely.
You guys truly do get to be a part of those milestones. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody sees and takes the photos with the sold sign, whether they're buying or selling, and
Yeah.
it's huge. It's a core memory for people and a core experience.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been wonderful. I've created so many long-term friendships
Oh, I bet.
because of this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raving fans, the moments where, you'll go to a graduation party and you sold them that house 18 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Those types of things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool. It kind of makes the, hair on the back of your neck stand up at times. 'Cause
Sure. Yeah.
It's a privilege and to be part of this here locally is so important to us. So.
You've touched on it a little bit. How do you feel Coldwell Banker Woodland Schmidt has impacted the community? What has been that involvement?
I think because, with the 17 agents, we live here, we participate in the community, we're involved, board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce, the churches, the athletic stuff, all the kids in the school. I mean, we are invested in this community.
I love that.
And that's a big piece of who we are too, is that it's not back to kind of that not a transactional piece is we're part of the community and we want to be part of the community. So you'll see our agents doing things like in the parades and sponsoring events and being at the sports outings and things like that. Not because we're all trying to advertise or promote our business or our trade, but we have kids in there, or we're having fun doing it, or we're golfing and we're doing all the things with our neighbors. And that's what's really kind of that business piece of it. But then again, we're neighbors. We are neighbors. We live in this town. We want to be, engaged with folks that live here and enjoy the wonders of White Lake. I mean, we are very lucky. This West Michigan area has some things that other parts of the country don't. And so we get the opportunity to share that with others, and then to enjoy that with our friends and neighbors, family is a big deal. So we love that piece of it too. I'm originally from Canada, and people said, well, when you moved to West Michigan, and I love it here. This has just become home for us. And when we get to sell that home, it's even the better. So.
And as the Chamber of Commerce, we love seeing you out and about in the community, whether it be at a local business or participating in those events. It's great to see that involvement. It is heartwarming. So thank you for doing that and going the extra mile.
You guys always have one of the best floats in the parade.
Yeah, we take pride in that.
We
float.
take pride.
Yeah, you
So,
I know, but you see it because your whole team shows up with their families and they're having fun.
Yeah.
It's fun for them.
beach balls or even golf outings or other things that you always know there's Coldwell Banker agents in the world in the area when we're having events. They tend to stick out, and that's kind of a fun thing to have.
And we are a very cohesive unit. We're a family.
Yeah.
We are a family.
Yeah. It's a real estate industry can be, very independent, right? You're an independent
Sure.
contractor, and yet our company, let alone our office, I think our office exemplifies it maybe better than most, but they pull in the rope together. We together will achieve things. We together can move the mountain. We can't really do that ourselves. And that's kind of why we've grown as a company, and that's why our agents have grown individually in their sales. And I think that's helped our community, and that's why our community's grown, is because we link together and we can accomplish more things, and that's who we are.
Absolutely.
Do you feel that's always been the case, Jason? Or do you feel that type of work environment and that cohesiveness, using your word, has always been the case? Or is that something that has grown over the years?
I think it grows. I think it's a reflection of some culture and leadership.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Like David does a good job at making sure that there's inclusiveness and there's communication and things. But as a company, that's who we are as well.
Okay.
And so we just continue to grow in that realm. And I think that's unique in some cases. Some industries, maybe even our industry, that cohesiveness doesn't always exist. And that's not who we want to be. We believe in that. We, even though we're competitors, because that's in essence, agents are all competitors, but yet we are still working together because our common goal is not about us. It's back to our community. It's back to the buyer. It's back to the seller. It's back to those people that we're impacting, and we can do better if we link arms to do that than we can if we try to do it on our own accord. And so I think we're growing in that realm, in that realm, but it's part of who we are. It's a cultural thing that, frankly, goes back 100 years.
Wow.
That that if we joke about it, the company will do about 15,000 units, closed units across all of our regions, and they'll do about $4.5 billion in sales volume. We call ourselves still a mom and pop.
Oh.
Because even though the company has gotten large and does a lot of transactions, we're still back to our core values, and who we are has not changed throughout those 100 years. And you can see that in the eyes of our people. You can see that in David. You can see that in all the agents in the offices. Over the years, whether they're retirees, whether they're brand new agents, that's the kind of people that live under our banner, and we love that.
Yeah.
Well, and Mike Schmidt. I mean,
Yeah.
talk about him for a minute. I mean, just a class act individual.
Aw.
The
Just a
Schmidt
good human.
family, the Schmidt family has gone through some stuff. Mr. Schmidt, Ken Schmidt, passed away a year and a half ago, and he was the patriarch, right? And yet his son, who has worked hand in hand with his dad all these years, has grabbed the mantle and is continuing the mission of the family and putting, again, the agent service first. That we're here to serve our agents. And this is a little interesting note that our customer as a company is not the buyer seller. Our customer is the agent as a company, because we know if we serve our agents will do a good job at serving the buyer and seller. And so that's been Mike's focus, and doing it at a high level with integrity and class. It's been very, they say I bleed blue. It's not because they pay me. It's because I believe it. It's who we are, and we are a good fit. And I think David and all of us kind of have that relationship. And with Mike as leadership, we're looking forward to the next 100 years. And we're doing that right now. We're hit the ground running to set the stage for whatever the future holds.
Nice.
And you see that too. You see that in your agents. You guys do have, we call it what we have community pride. You see Coldwell pride in what you guys do,
For sure.
and it's fun to see. It makes work more fun and enjoyable.
For sure.
Do you guys have any parting message? What is it that you would want to say to the community or to people about Coldwell Banker Woodland Schmidt?
I think what myself and what I preach to the agents there, we're not salespeople. We are invested in the community. We are advisors to you.
I think that's true, and the fact that we are so focused on the true value of home, right? Where home begins is not the real estate transaction, and so when we interview for the job, we want to earn the business, and when we earn the business, then we want to make sure that we perform and act at a high level to accomplish whatever the goal is. And I think, again, if people are out there wanting to learn about real estate from an advisor standpoint, or looking to interview to do a transaction, to interview a Coldwell Banker agent does have some uniquenesses to it, because you'll see that through that lens, that they're looking out for that best interest. They want to advise them, but also it's a privilege, back to what we talked about earlier ago, and we want to help them navigate that transaction and get them to whatever that end goal is, not just make a sale.
Yeah.
And like you said a moment ago, we're not salespeople. We are a sales organization, yes, but we're in the service business. And when people get a glimpse into that, then you get the raving fans. Then you can have the market share that we enjoy. Then you can get some of the benefits that affect the community and those buyers and sellers, and then, of course, our agents.
Well, kudos to both of you, for bringing the industry to this level, because I'm sure there's a lot of ins and outs and that things that have come and gone, and just really appreciate that level of professionalism that you bring not only to the industry but to our community. We feel very fortunate and blessed to have you here in the White Lake area. So for additional reference for our viewers.
Area code 231-894-5611.
All right, excellent. And also social media presence, I'm sure.
Yep, we do have a Coldwell Banker Whitehall Facebook page,
Okay.
Instagram page, and everything else out there.
And they can go to cbgreatlakes.com, which will also be kind of a director to some local websites as well. So yeah, you'll find us digitally, and then of course pick up the phone and reach out, because that's agents love to sit down and have a coffee and talk about real estate. There's no doubt.
I'm pretty sure the website would be Coldwell Banker Whitehall.com. You tag that in Google, you'll find us.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing with our viewers and for being with us as our
Thank
guest.
you for wearing Coldwell blue.
Intentional?
We planned it, sure.
Well, and a little parting thought too, not to rave too much, but thank you for what you guys do for the chamber, or from a chamber perspective, from a business perspective, the things that you guys do for the community and allow us to be part of that. This as an example.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're very excited to be included in some of these things and appreciate all your efforts.
Thank you.
Well, you are most welcome. It is our pleasure.
We feel honored to do it as well.
Yeah, yeah. All right, with that, thank you for joining us today on our podcast, and we'll see you next time.